Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you find yourself in this very dark city of ours. Tonight, we return to Gotham by Night. It's been a couple days since our last scene, and a few of our characters are a little shaken, a few of our characters are happy, and a few of our characters did a lot of murder. Nonetheless, Gotham continues. It is the wicked city that never sleeps, after all. Our first scene will take us to a one Trinity who has hmm, this night decided to maybe get a little feeding in because she has not fed in quite some time. So let's go to her scene now. Miss Logan, you may take it away. What are you doing this lovely night? It has been 4 nights. No, I'm sorry. It has actually been 1 week since the museum heist.
She was not at the museum heist, unless you're talking about the thing with the speech. So
I'm sorry, you were at the display that the Gotham thing was in, and that was near the museum. That's why
okay,
I said museum heist.
okay, I just wasn't
It's
sure.
been a week. Yeah, it's been a week since you face planted onto the truck.
Okay, so Trinity is sitting at a bus stop, um, reading like a magazine. Apparently, just waiting for the bus. She's kind of radiating this sort of I'm not paying attention to my surroundings. Look at me. I'm vulnerable. She has one leg crossed over the other, just browsing her magazine. It is I'll say something about fashion. And she's just humming a little song to herself as she's reading it.
Out of curiosity, what song are you humming? Out of curiosity.
The Jaws theme.
Interesting. Are you? I would consider the scene similar to a fisherman sitting and waiting for a nibble. Are you actively trying to, per se, get someone to try and mess with you, or are you doing it just passively?
She's I guess kind of passively doing it. She's not really doing anything in specific to like start anything. She's just kind of presenting a very innocent, not paying attention kind of persona.
All right, let me roll some dice then. And I assume you're in a shady part of town.
Yeah, probably.
Of course, this is Gotham. Of course, this is Gotham everywhere shady. But nonetheless, let me roll some dice. For those who were wondering what those dice rolls were, that was common sense. Okay. All right. Just a moment here. Not exactly a good part of town. As the rain continues to fall down due to the fact that it is Gotham City's rainy season, you notice your bus is late. And although you're sitting under a very, very nice digitized awning, it's not exactly the safest place to be. You haven't been bothered yet. Although you now see a man in a hoodie standing at the platform near you, not seeming to pay any mind to you.
Um, she just looks up like and checks a little watch. Looks up like she's looking for the bus and says, "Huh, okay," and then goes back to reading her magazine.
Man in the hoodie looks over at you. He seems to be in his mid-20s, standard-looking fellow. Yeah, bus late?
Yeah, I was supposed to be here like 5-10 minutes ago. I hope nothing's wrong. And she kind of makes this like sad face, like it would be horrible if like the bus broke down or something, you know?
Yeah, that'd be a real shame. Would you roll me a wits plus composure? You'll need 3 successes.
What's plus composure? Where's the dice channel? Here it is. That is 4 successes.
Very nice. You see the man standing, kind of minding his own business. However, you notice that he's doing something very odd. He's turning his right arm towards you, and he's squeezing his fist. Like, it's not like he's not pointing at you, like he's just turning his the soft side of his like wrist, like along the pinky side down there, the side of the hand. He's turning it towards you, and he's squeezing his hand, trying to be very nonchalant about it.
She goes, is your arm hurt? You should probably go to the hospital. That's, if you got like something wrong with your arm, they have a really good hospital here."
"Oh, I'm fine. I don't have the money to go. I don't have money to afford health insurance. You kidding nowadays?"
"Yeah, I know. It must be really hard." I'm from Canada, so we get national health care. So I feel for you, bro. I feel for you.
Yeah. Gotham City is not known for its good health care.
Well, if Bruce Wayne would pay a fair amount of taxes, you guys he could probably bankroll healthcare for everyone in the city, but and she kind of shrugs. I'm just a Canadian socialist, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose so. How long you been in Gotham?
And she takes one finger and puts it up to her lips like she's thinking. I'd say like a week and a half or so. Why?
Just curious. Are you enjoying your time here in Gotham?
Oh, it's wonderful. I absolutely love it here. And she gives a big old grin.
Does Trinity have any way to pick up electromagnetic signals?
I don't think she does. Let me look. I don't think she does, but yeah, no, it does not look like she does.
Okay. You'll see the man kind of scratch the side of his head, and then he departs. About 15 minutes go by. And then another man, a similar hoodie, although this one has a symbol on it that you recognize.
Oh?
It's a symbol for the Jokers. And he stands pretty much in the same spot the other guy did and just kind of looks out over everything.
So when she sees that, she sees the symbol on his hoodie and kind of hurriedly, not hurriedly, but with a little bit of urgency, puts her magazine into her little purse and stands up and makes like she's starting to walk away.
Mm-hmm. If you're going to walk away, he's going to follow you.
Okay. She will make it not necessarily obvious, but she'll like glance over her shoulder every once in a while. And if he's still following her, she'll kind of like walk a little bit faster.
Let me go ahead and roll a stealth roll for the guy, and I would like you to roll me a wits plus composure.
Okie dokie.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay. I had a sticky
There
fingers.
there are no Harry Potter spells allowed in this campaign.
Nope.
Okay. You, as you kind of go to, look behind you and try to keep this possible new prey, you lose sight of him.
Okay. All right. So when she loses sight of him, she stops, looks around. Are there any what kind of area is she in?
This particular area of Gotham is set up in a very grid-like pattern, part of the older city. The particular area you're in right now is known as, ironically, Hangman's Alley, which was a very, very, very old section of Gotham, probably the oldest streets that were lucky enough to be in the new industrialized kind of area.
Mm-hmm.
So you're kind of in between the new super cyber city and the old city. And it's a very old designed street. Very grid-like. You're around a few business buildings. There's a couple law firms. There's a bus station not too far. And there's some alleyways here or there. And there is also ironically enough, you walk by a big herbalism garden that's, for whatever reason, strikes you as odd. But the herbalist shop, you just keep going because it's closed.
Okay. She is going to, as her hunger's kind of curious now, kind of starting to pay a bit more attention, she hoists her bag over her shoulder and continues walking at a more sedate pace down the street, keeping an eye out around her. And she is going to spend a satiety.
Okay.
So that when she has her, whatchamacallit, her screams are ready.
Excellent. So as you're walking, you're actually not that far from Mr. Nevermore's shop, at least from what I'm looking at on the map here. So let's go ahead and pause that scene for a moment to go to Mr. Nevermore, who has returned from, a day of breaking and entering. Tell me, how has Mr. Nevermore fixed his window? Windows, I should say. Apparently, he has fixed them with the sound of silence. Clever. Very well, then. Let's go to Andrew. You've had a rough week.
Yes, things have been interesting. We can say that they were interesting.
True. But in the end, you got a new job out of it. And you accomplished what your task was, or what you wanted to do. Albeit sloppily, but nonetheless, you did what you could. Not much more you could do at that point.
How much time has passed? I imagine he's still not entirely sure how everything has turned out.
I would say 2 days.
So the best answer he's gotten from Otto is they're working on it.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Oh, I was needed. What?
It's okay. You'll be coming up sooner or later. Andrew,
Okay.
just for whatever reason, as you're walking, you're not too far from an odd little. Would you say toy shop, Evan, or like knick-knack shop?
It's an antique shop.
Antique shop. Okay. So Andrew, as you're patrolling on, actually your particular route that you were living close is actually not that far from this place, about 4 blocks. Let's see. Trinity is en route. Andrew is en route. Mr. Nevermore. Yes, coming back to your shop. How have you fixed your windows? All of them.
You know what? He stuck to his guns. He got out his tools. He sat there for 3 hours drinking tea, then decided, fuck it, called Ernie and had Ernie replace the windows.
Very good. And
He
I
also called
assume
his
the
homeowner's insurance. He was that
Indeed.
boring.
Indeed. And I assume the phone, the ancient black old anvil of a phone that was knocked over and destroyed during the last conflict. Has he replaced it with an even older phone this time?
Yes, it's one of those wonderful ones, the ones where you had to actually speak into a little mouthpiece and had to put the thing to your ear. He's like, you know what? No, I'm done with all this modern bullshit. Yeah, let's go back
Indeed.
to a classic.
The modernization of Gotham has worn itself on you quite a bit. Although it's at this point that you do notice there is a small envelope in your mailbox.
He kind of putters towards the mailbox. He looks down, sighs ever so slightly at the fact of, I'm going to have to claim twice for my windows before he'll open the envelope. Actually, you know what? He'll get a letter opener, and he'll open it fancy.
You open the letter, and it says, "Riddle me this, Mr. Nevermore," in very sloppily and awkwardly placed text. The writing of the envelope looks like someone cut out different fonts and letters and clippings from newspapers and books and everything and just glued them very sloppily, I might add, onto the letter. And that is basically how you're reading it. So it looks like a 5-year-old scrapbook that decided to, make a full-on introduction. It says, "Riddle me this, Mr. Nevermore. We have 3 players and 5 antagonists. 3 plus 5 is 8. Where do people like to do figure eights? Many figure eights. It's okay, Mr. Nevermore. I'll wait. If you can't find this riddle, then you won't find the gate. But perhaps maybe you can still do a figure 8. Sorry to break the ice."
I take it Gotham has an ice rink.
It does.
Mm-hmm. There's this kind of wonderful sign of, why? Fine. He's so tempted. Yeah, you know what? He's going to do the exact same thing. He's going to go to the bookshelf in the back. He's going to spend the next 30 minutes cutting out fucking magazine clippings and books and pages from books, so he can assemble the sentence, "I hope I'm one of the antagonists," put it in an envelope, stick it in the door, and leave his house. Yep.
As you walk out into the rain, it's at this point, Trinity, you almost run headfirst into him, and Andrew, you're not that far behind.
She goes, Mr. Nevermore, how wonderful to see you.
Question, you're not about to blow up my house, are you?
Oh no, I would never. But I might be being followed by some gangers, so...
Heh. As long as it has absolutely nothing to do with my windows, I'm relatively happy.
She kind of looks at his
Ah!
windows and says, we should probably get moving a little bit further away from your shop then.
Detective! It would appear as though my young friend is being harassed by gangers. Go, do Gotham's good work. Yes.
Excuse me. So he gets this raised eyebrow expression. This is incredulous. Aha, I see.
I mean, if the mayor has anything to do with this, and I'm pretty sure he is, one police officer is equal to 20 gangers, because by God, that's the amount of police officers we have in the ratio.
Well, I hate to rock the boat, but we seem to have one less, but that doesn't really change things at the moment. Another time, maybe. And he kind of peers over Trinity's shoulder, looking to see who's potentially following her.
Roll me a wits plus composure.
That is a success.
Ah, hello, cat.
Hi.
Sorry. Bad guy got 8s, 9s, and 10s exploding on this roll, so he is 2. So defender wins. Does anyone here have any sort of precognition power?
I might. Yes, I do actually. Well, no, I can turn back time. So if something happens I really don't like, I can just basically go nope and basically go back in time a turn or two to make sure that I don't get hit or something doesn't or something that happens I don't like that I can avoid. So
Much
kind
like
of.
yes, much like Kronos from Changeling 1.
Yeah,
Changeling
pretty
2.
much. Yeah.
Alrighty. It's at this point that Trinity, Andrew, and Nevermore meet once again in the rain. And after a small moment, I'm going to say everyone does get a little feeling like something's watching them out of a sixth sense because you're all supernatural creatures. You know what it means to have something following you, just something hunch you. Some of you are predators in and of yourself. After a while, you see a very large black van come driving by. The van doesn't stop or slow down or anything, but it's a little bit out of place. It's sleek black, metallic. It almost looks like one of those old big, grab vans that they used to have in New York. The one that you think some creeper owns. And it drives by you, and would Mr. Nevermore, Andrew, and Trinity all roll me wits plus composure? You will need 2 hits.
Zero.
I just need to get my pool. 1 moment, please.
That would be 2.
I likewise have 2.
Okay. Nevermore and Andrew. You notice a small flash, like a camera flash, come from one of the inner windows of the van as it drives by.
Yeah, fuck it. I just have to get the name of the power and how much it costs. 'Cause, yeah, that trips all of his changeling. Oh shit, huntsman senses. Like nope,
Mhm.
nope, 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 nope. So basically, what's going to happen is, it is a mirror contract. Uh, Yep, it costs me 2 glamour, 1 willpower. So he'll pay the 2 glamour, 1 willpower. He then has to roll wits plus occult plus weird, which is a pretty decent pool for him. So that's 7. Yeah, so that's 7, 8, 9. Because he's got a pretty good weird. Wow, he only gets 1 success, but that's all he needs. So basically what he does is he sees this, at which point he's like, no. He then activates this contract. So what happens, Brandon, is basically 10 seconds, basically the universe resets 10 seconds, if that makes sense. Basically goes back. He is cognizant of this, unless anyone else here has the ability to sense temporal manipulation. It's actually very specific about that. So essentially 10 seconds in the past, everyone will blink to. And what he does is he kind of steps back into his shop door and into the little side alcove, if that makes sense, so that he can't be seen.
Okay.
So just
So, Mr. Nevermore, roll me another wits plus composure. This time you'll need 3 hits.
I'm going to spend a willpower on this particular one because this sounds important.
You may.
So it's going to be... Oh, only 2. Oh, well.
I'll say this. When you activated your temporal power, you felt something. A little pulse of energy. You're not entirely sure where or what it came from or even what the energy was. But you are a changeling. You are used to the flows of magic, weird, wild, like you've seen these things before. Although you're not massively experienced in the other supernatural, but you know what it means when something happens. You can feel it, especially when it's something related to changeling. You did feel something, but it could be your power, it could be maybe one of Andrew or Trinity's powers, but you felt something when you activated your power.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Nonetheless,
Did it seem to emanate from the direction? Did it seem to emanate from the direction of the van? Is the one question I'll ask.
yes.
Okay. Fuck.
Nonetheless,
But he will still get. He'll.
now are you hiding through your door or around the alleyway? Out of curiosity.
Basically, if you picture his door, there's a kind of a little alcove as you come into his door. So like it kind of fans on either side, like a small like thing to stand in out of the rain. So he basically just stands into his door and to the side. So he basically presses his back against the wall of this little circular area in the door of the door. So he's pretty much tucked out of sight.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Just for the shits and giggles, go ahead and roll me a wits plus stealth.
Those are dice I think I have.
Just to make sure he's not ducked around the corner with his foot sticking out.
That could be funny.
It's like, I'm going to hide behind the corner. Oh, well, no, not really.
Where the fuck did the dice roller go? Because I think I clicked out of it.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Is my dice pool not here at all?
You and I are going to have a talk about mirrors in a little while, but that's neither here nor there. One success.
That'll do it. So, after this all happens, you see that time successfully rewinds. For a moment, the rain stops, and then all of the droplets begin to move upward. The water reforms into a shape of a raindrop. The van starts to move backward, the puddles that it splashed through starting to suck back to their original positions. Trinity and Andrew walk backwards from their initial point. 10 seconds. Now, Evan,
That I also reset to my previous position. It's I don't get to stand outside it, if that makes sense.
right.
Mhm.
Out of curiosity, they're unaware of it happening. Is anyone aware of it after it's over? For example,
No,
if I was
basically from their perspective,
okay,
unless they can actively perceive the time fuckery, for them it never happened. If that
Okay.
makes sense, per the reading of the power, yeah.
right. Trinity, Andrew, you're walking towards one another from opposite directions.
Yes.
You look up and you see one another.
Oh, well, I haven't seen her in a few days.
Oh, hey, Andrew. How are you?
Trying and failing to keep out of trouble yourself.
Oh, just looking for trouble like always.
You see a black van drive past both of you.
And she looks, kind of
Oh, thank
smiles,
God they're
and I
gone.
think that's dinner.
So I'm going to imagine his role from before is still successful, seeing as nothing exactly
Yep.
changed.
Yeah, you see a little flash, like a camera.
Andrew
Mr.
has.
Nevermore kind of pops his head out, and he's like, "Oh, thank God, that's gone."
Well, I know where it's going if it's a problem.
No, and where might that be?
And he.
I have just altered the very fundamentals of time and space, so I wouldn't be caught on camera. So, if you wouldn't mind.
I just saying that we can follow it if you want to.
I tend to find that individuals who go around in very, very large black vehicles with, shall we say, obscurous spyware tend not to be the kind of individuals who you'd like to go tracking down.
Yes, except I don't normally expect someone to kick in the back door.
Detective, I have a proposition for you.
I see. And what might that be?
By the way, is he a detective or a beat cop? Because obviously I'm going to know the difference if I
Detective.
can see it.
At the time, upon first meeting, he was pending, and then he was promoted, and then he resigned. So,
Although, unbeknownst to Mr. Nevermore, he has received a better promotion.
So, I tell you what, you and I make a little bit of a deal. You're a man who likes a deal, I take it.
Trinity leans over to Andrew and just says very quietly, "Make a deal with him at your own risk, little brother."
oh, I am aware. I may not be knowledgeable, but it's something I'm getting used to.
I assure you it's entirely equitable. Quite simply, I just want a copy of the Gotham City police report on the entity known as the Riddler. I want to know what they know, and in exchange, I'll tell you where his next trophy is located.
Hey,
Hmm. Andrew has to think about that for a second. Well, I'm a little confused why you would want to report like that.
Because I want to know him. I want to get under his skin.
Literally.
Okay. I suppose you're saying this is a mutual benefit then.
He extends his hand. Do we have a deal?
I think something else could be added to this deal, seeing as it strikes me as more working toward a different goal entirely as opposed to a trade.
What are you going to add?
Andrew isn't sure how to explain this.
He's curious about what? Sorry, you kind of broke up.
Um,
And Andrew's adding something to the deal.
well, he wants to add something to the deal, but I'm not sure how to
Right.
explain it.
What exactly are you trying to add? Like, what do
He
you
wants
want
to give. He wants to give Mr. Nevermore the status of family ties.
Ah, okay. So, in other words, you wish to give. Oh, okay.
Because that's how that works.
In honesty, there are 3 supernaturals around you at the moment. Yeah, kinship probably. Yeah, kinship, family ties. Basically, you can be pretty blunt with him. You can say, "Hey, I'm going to use this power," because at that point, technically, you and him are kind of doing a very similar power to one another. So, just be blunt. In all honesty, to save face.
Okay, I guess I'll put it this way. I'm going to use one of my abilities on you, which is technically beneficial. And apparently you are using an ability on me, which is technically beneficial.
You have my utter word that at this moment in time I am doing no such thing. However, provided you give me your solemn word of honor that it will not bear any negative ill will or ill effects towards me, then you and I have a deal.
And he's still not sure how this is in his head, but he asks a pertinent question. You obviously want proof, and I can understand that. So what would be the clause to where if I'm found to be lying?
Is he breaking up for everybody else, or is it just me?
No, he's fine for me.
It might be me who's breaking up. Give me 2 seconds.
And of course, Trinity, you are bearing witness to this. Oh, now Trinity's back. Yeah, Trinity, you are bearing witness to a possible deal going down between Andrew and Mr. Nevermore.
I mean,
There we go.
she warned her little brother. She's not gonna interrupt if he thinks that he's doing what's right.
All right. So,
I'm just attempting to
allow
fight
me-
again.
Allow me to construct this deal properly. So, I will give you the location, or the supposed location, of the next Riddler trophy. In exchange, you will give me all of the information, documents, etc., that are held by the Gotham Police, or a copy of all of the documents that are held by the Gotham Police Department as it pertains the Riddler. And you will be able to use one of your little powers on me that will not bear me any ill effect, side effects, etc. And that is the deal.
That is indeed the deal. And because I'm adding something onto my end, I was attempting to balance things out by offering you a chance to define a clause in case I'm lying. Obviously, this is just for your peace of mind, because I don't think I'd want to lie to someone of your ability.
Sir, I am more than happy to take you at your word. He
Yeah.
extends his hand. He
Yep,
kind of does the
Andrew.
flick of the wrist. He extends his hand and moves his fingers.
Yeah,
Shall we
Andrew-
shake on it and call it a deal?
That would be a deal, and Andrew will shake.
Contract formed. Okay, Andrew, is there anything you need to roll for your power?
No, it is a persistent status. Family ties.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Mr. Nevermore, is there anything you need to roll for your deal?
No, I just have to spend the requisite glamour to make the
Yes.
bargain with him, and he'll spend the requisite glamour.
All right.
Whoop.
Mr. Nevermore, the bargain has been made. Andrew, your power goes off. And the deal has been made. Andrew. And actually, Andrew and Nevermore, because I like this. Both of you hear a little click, like a lock or locket or doorknob getting locked inside your minds.
How interesting.
I would also like to point out now that this is the year, the futuristic year. Andrew, you can actually give him all of the information you request because you still do have permissions. You haven't fully been disclosed yet. You can easily give him some right now, actually. In the future, there are these things called burner tablets. Much like a burner phone, burner tablets can have three-dimensional and 3D displays placed on them. Not to mention, but they can not only remotely connect to Wi-Fi, which is universally connected all around the city with exception of the old areas, but you can literally just hand out burner pads with lots of information on them. It would be a very simple task to put this information onto a tablet and hand it to him. Although, knowing Mr. Nevermore, seeing his reaction to the tablet might be an interesting one.
I was going to say, Mr. Nevermore does have 2 dots of computers. He's actually computer savvy.
Excellent.
He doesn't like it.
So Nevermore, you'll be handed the tablet, and it's a three-dimensional display tablet, like the keyboard and like everything gets displayed in 3D, like gets displayed in like this, holographic projector kind of style that you can actually interact with. But nonetheless, Andrew,
Actually, guys, I tell you what, I've just been summoned downstairs. Apparently, it's after some kind of accident or something. I'm not 100% sure.
dear.
So
Oh, dear.
I'm going to jet. I'll probably be back later for the scene later on. So I'll talk to you guys
Right.
later, okay?
All right, just letting you know he gave you the information. Hope everything's okay. Anyway, Trinity and Andrew, time for some fun.
She's just kind of shaking her head at Andrew as, I guess, Nevermore walks back into his shop.
Mhm.
All right. That's all she says.
Trinity, Andrew, would you both roll me willpower, current?
What is? Okay. Go to the dice channel. That is 0 successes.
1 success.
Okay, not enough. Andrew and Trinity. You start to notice the world around you starts to distort. Starts to compress. The world becomes wavy. Like you're looking at it through a reflection of water. Both Andrew and Trinity feel a pull. And then you see the world around you start to zoom and buzz and go black. Trinity and Andrew, you are both thrown onto a solid wooden floor in a very dark room. If you have dark vision, so to speak, you are in some kind of maybe open, abandoned living room that's in a weird, maybe odd, decaying, crumbling kind of house or something. It's hard to tell.
Andrew can say in the dark, yes, but well, I guess you did warn me.
This doesn't feel like Mr. Nevermore did this. The reason I say that, Andrew, is because you now have you have a bond more than you realize with Mr. Nevermore. Something in your mind is telling you that this felt very different from the what you have observed from Mr. Nevermore so far.
Or maybe not.
You see around you a lot of odd equipment. Maybe old-looking radio stations, black computers, a weird-looking, what you know, Andrew, to be some sort of scrambler, and a few other odd devices. And you and Trinity appear to be in a very oddly and crudely drawn circle. Does anyone here know Latin?
No, but
Nope.
Andrew does have 2 dots of occult.
Okay, Andrew, go ahead and roll me intelligence with 2 dots of occult. You will
I
need
also
2
have a
hits.
cult. I also have a cult.
You may also roll.
One success.
Interesting. Alone, neither one of you know what's going on. However, when you combine your knowledges together, you both notice that this is indeed in Latin. And it says, by the blood, we bring those here against their wills. And hear their solemn screams.
Oh, good. Fucking edgelords.
You hear some
Well.
movement from outside the room you're in. You can now notice a closed door off to the right. And you hear voices.
Andrew was going to try and disrupt the circle with his foot.
You do
And
so.
Trinity's gonna stop him from doing it. She's gonna hold out her hand. Says, Andrew. She looks at him. Do you trust me?
Do I have a choice in this situation?
I don't know. Do you, little brother?
I suppose I do.
And she's going to. I'm just looking to see if there's a roll for this because I don't know if there is. She's going to connect her lair to his.
Oh boy.
Not that I know of. Not that
Which
I've
makes them a brood. And then she's going to like spit on the drawing, and she's going to like take her like foot and then try and like use the spit to rub out a couple of the runes or
You do
whatever.
It's not that difficult of a task.
Okay.
Well, apparently it's just meant to summon, not contain. And I can't believe I said that out loud.
You hear voices come from beyond the door, and they're fairly loud, so they're easy to hear. Well, did we get him? Hey, boss said the device would work. I think it's worth. Let's go get him.
She grins and rubs her hands together, looking at Andrew. Ready to have some fun, little brother?
I guess they're going to get us.
Hey, we gonna use that new weapon the guy gave us? Yeah, let's give it a shot.
Andrew's going to. It's dark in here, yes?
Well, when you say that, the room, as the door, I'll tell you guys what happens here. Sorry, I'm a little bit off. The next scene that happens for the next few seconds, the door is flown open, and about 4 men come pouring in, brandishing weapons. One of them brandishes what looks like a giant grenade launcher. The other ones are brandishing shotguns. Also, simultaneously at this time, the room is filled with halogen floodlight, and the lights are all pointing at you and Trinity, attempting to blind you. So, for this situation, I will have you roll initiative. However, due to the circumstances and due to the fact that you are somewhat surprised, although you knew they were coming, the floodlights got you by surprise. I am going to say that Trinity and Andrew will roll initiative at -2.
Andrew does have his. He does have his fast reflexes, so I suppose that'd be a -1 for me.
Yep, let's go ahead and switch music here, and I'll get some. Nine.
Oh, I had myself muted. What's initiative again?
1d10 and add your initiative modifier.
Your
Ah.
initiative modifier is Dex plus weights.
That's
Wow.
a static number, not dice added to the roll.
No, it's like 1d10 plus, for example, 7 or 8 or whatever is your
Yeah.
the sum.
Rexford, what is your dexterity?
3. My modifier is 5, so it would just stay at 5.
So you have 3 dex, okay? Okay, that guy, you'll go first then. And wow, Jesus Christ, my enemies can never roll shit. So the order will go Trinity, Andrew, bad guys.
Okay.
However, I need to pop something really quick before the match starts. Let's see if it goes off. It does. So, Trinity, your turn.
Okay. What is the highest? I believe it's stamina. Yeah. What is the highest stamina among the group?
5.
And that's not with armor or anything, right? That's just pure stamina.
That is flat stamina.
Okay. So my presence plus expression. And I'm gonna spend a willpower on this.
You may.
So that is 3. My expression. All right, so I'm on 4 dice. Okay, so that is they take. So 1, 2. They take 6 lethal, and they all take deafened in both ears. And
Sonic
Rexford is immune to it. Yep, and it's an AOE, so it hits all of them.
Nice.
As she just opens her mouth and it does not affect Andrew because he's her broodmate. That is specific. It does not affect broodmates, so he's good.
Yep, I'm just rolling for them.
And it is unaffected. It ignores armor and any form of supernatural protection that does not shield their senses.
Mm-hmm. However, they have something interesting, and holy crud. Well, surprisingly, the two left, like that looks like it like hurt them pretty good, like ow, like really ow. The two on the right are like unfazed. Like, look at that. The fucker had 2 dice. I can't believe it. So the two on the right just get like, oh fuck, Sonic screech, like what you expect them to react as something would that just got hit in the face with fucking, God forbid how many decibels you scream at.
Mhm.
And they don't look happy. The two on the left, or the two on the other side, don't even look as if they were even scratched. A very beautiful attack from a very beautiful woman. But you screech, it hits them. They throw up their hands and cover their ears while still holding their weapons. However, one of them falls to their knees, the other one backs up to the wall. The other two simply adjust their aim. And I assume that is your turn?
She's just going to point at the two, like, on the left for Andrew. It's just kind of like, you take them, I'll take the other two.
Andrew, it is your turn.
Well, they closed the door after them. Andrew is going to latch onto the fact that they're trapped in here. And he is going to bring the other half of his lair into this world. All the light in the room vanishes.
All right.
And he will spend a willpower point while he does this. And this will not affect Trinity at all. Unless, of course, she's immune to it. I'm not sure. But
Indeed, that is a good question. Would you need a different layer trait than darkness?
Yes. I will find it for you right now.
I think he's using sealed exits because
No.
What I
If he
understood.
wants to get rid of the lights, he will need a very specific one called Disruption, which specifically states that it affects and denies the use of human tools, such as flashlights and things like that.
I thought disruption was for the lair itself, but
With darkness, it says without a source of illumination, they have illumination.
all right, fair enough.
Indeed. And Trinity targeted them, not the lights. So
It-
they
that-
got hit by it.
it does shatter glass in the immediate area.
It will, but there's quite a lot of halogen floodlights here, and none of them were really right by the guys. They were kind of up higher. And I'll say that your thing went into a cone. So you were able to hit all of them with the AoE easily, but the lights didn't get a hit. Didn't get in it.
Okay.
Oh,
I'll say that if you wish to target the lights next turn, you may easily
Actually,
destroy them without even rolling.
no, never mind. He'll still invoke a lair trait. He'll invoke heavy.
Ooh, okay.
I'm not sure what that does, but I can find out.
What are you doing?
He's doing heavy.
Heavy.
It makes them feel concerned about their weight, and then they leave you because they want to go work out.
No, it's more like gravity increase, but
No, I know that it does that. I just don't know what I need to roll for it.
Stamina, strength plus stamina, penalized by 1 dot per dot by 1 die per dot of size above 5, or they suffer -3 penalty to all physical dice rolls.
Right, so strength and
Stamina. And success prevents the penalty for the character's stamina in turns.
so yeah, it still happens. They can just
okay. So one guy got 1, 2, 3, and then the other guy got 1, 2, 3. They all got 3.
So there's for their stamina in returns, they're immune to the lair trait.
Is invoking a trait an actual action? I don't know.
That is okay. That is why we have combat. Princess, is invoking a layer trait like that a turn?
I mean, I'd say that kind of merging two different dimensions into one would be.
Hmm. I would say that using a power is usually a turn, no matter what in aspect. So I'll say that that was your turn. Is that all you wish to do, Andrew? You can still move, technically.
He's not sure if there's anywhere good to move.
Indeed, the room is quite empty. Not a whole lot to hide behind. Not much cover.
Well, is one of those lamps close by?
Yeah, actually.
Heck, it's not much, but it's something.
I'll make a deal with you. If you wish to spend a willpower, I'll say you can run over and knock one over.
I'm not entirely sure why.
Well, what happens when you throw a light into water? Especially not a waterproof.
Why is there water?
There is no water. There could be water, is what he's saying.
I mean, there should be water. It is raining.
Well,
We're inside of a building.
indeed, they're inside the building.
I can flood the building. Or I can flood the room next turn, but that will kill us.
Nonetheless, there are
It
options.
wouldn't.
I'll explain it later.
Oh, it's okay. No worries. This is why we do this, so we can get the kinks out.
Well, for now, Andrew is just going to try to get behind one of these lamps. It's very poor cover, but it's better than nothing.
Mm-hmm. It is their turn.
And he will draw his gun.
Luckily for you, two of the men are currently grasping their heads in pain. The fact that some of their eardrums just got blown out. One of them will try and shoot Trinity, but he will literally have no dice. He will miss. The other one will try and shoot Andrew. He will miss because they are both too busy grasping their hands from the horrible sound that pierced their ears and basically blew out their eardrums. Those two will not be much of a problem. However, the other two seem to be better equipped and a bit smarter. Trinity, the one with the very odd-looking gun, points it at you and shoots. Trinity, this is a projectile weapon, so you will not get your defense unless you have something that says you get defense against firearms, do you?
Nope.
Okay, so this will be at full dice. You get 2 hits. You realize that it is not a grenade launcher. It is a net launcher. You are struck very forcefully by a very heavy, you guess maybe wire mesh net or something, and it wraps around you like a bolus, and then it is going to shock you. This will be a similar effect to what a taser does. Would you roll me stamina?
Give me 1 second because I need to look that up. And I also need to look up something else that may make this really funny.
Cool.
Just need to see if it's an instant action or not. She automatically escapes without a roll from any
Really?
mundane bonds.
Okay. I'll say that you can escape this, but I'll say that the electricity still zaps you that first turn. So go ahead and roll stamina.
I just need to check what her stamina actually is.
Yeah.
Oh, that is
What
the
I'm
thing.
curious about, would that power work with a taser? If you were tased, that's what I'm curious about. Because that is a great little thing you took there. I'm reading what it is.
No successes.
Right. Take 5 bashing damage, please.
Okay.
As the net strikes you, and you're hit with 50,000. Actually, no, you're not hit with 50,000. You're hit with almost more like 80 or 90,000 volts of electricity. But
There is health.
you're clever, and you escape the net.
No, just now she's pissed.
Andrew, the other man is going to turn and point his shotgun at you, and he's going to fire. Do you have anything that gives you defense against firearms?
Sadly, no. Other than the armor that he's wearing.
Lucky you. He fires, but the sonic screech, although not hurting him, did in fact affect him. And he shoots, but he shoots wide, and the massive slug of a bullet goes flying past you, striking into a wall, making a sound. You can hear some gas escaping. However, this man is going to use his second action. Because Andrew, as you look at him now, this man is not a human. Not fully, anyway. He is going to throw back his hoodie, which you can now see he has a gas mask on, and he is going to drop a grenade. Looks like a gas grenade. And that's his turn. Back up to Trinity.
She's really pissed, so she is going to. They shut the door, right?
Door is open.
Doors open. I'm looking at my lair traits. Sorry, I'm still also trying to find where health is in the book, so I know how to mark my health levels properly. I'll just do slash for now. She is going to. This is the one bad thing about PDS, is trying to go through like 7 different parts of the PDF at the same time.
Like I said, no worries. This is for the kinks. And to Dalton and Tatiana, who have been waiting in the background very patiently, I really do appreciate it.
I'll devour your firstborn.
I'm going to target the motherfucker with the net launcher. And what I'm gonna do. Where is it? Where's too many things in the book. So 6, 7, 8. What is the guy with the net launcher stamina?
5.
Okay, so she's going to just unleash another sonic screech then to hit all of them.
Okay. Yeah, the two on the left appear to be a little bit more beefy than the two on the right.
And gonna spend another willpower. She really wants these fuckers dead. She's very pissy right now. And that is, oh geez, that is 5, 6, 7, 8. That is 9 lethal to all of them. Bruh. That was a nice fucking roll.
Very good. So the two on the right are dead. By far dead. Their ears bleed out, and you see blood pouring out of their eye sockets, their ear sockets, their nose, their mouth. It's a mess. It's brutal. It's destructive. And it tastes glorious.
Wonderful.
The two on the left are hurt badly, but neither one is down. They seem to have some strange resistance to what you're doing. The two on the right, not so lucky. They are both dead. You have a movement if you wish.
Gonna move towards the door.
Okay. Andrew, it is your turn.
Where's that grenade?
He kind of just rolled it down in front of him.
Oh boy, I have no way of dealing with that.
You can kick it out the door, or
Yeah, it's a gas grenade.
literally just kick it out the door.
The door is open, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That would require jumping in front of 2 armed men. Oh boy. The heck with it. He's gonna try and move to the grenade and then kick it toward the door.
Okay. Roll me a dex. I would say
Athletics?
dex athletics, yes.
Fair enough.
It's technically not a brawl. Well, yeah, death athletics. We'll do death athletics. You want to do a backflip while you're at it?
I'm just sad that it wasn't 5, but
Yeah, you.
if I could maybe just for lulz, could I like bank it off of the heads of one of these guys toward the door?
Yes. I'll say it doesn't do any damage, but yeah, you can. Heck, if you with a roll like that, you could ping pong it between them, and then it'll go flying out the door.
Insult to injury.
Yes. I would also like to mention that both Andrew and Trinity, there is fear in the room now, if that means anything to either. Nonetheless,
Not
that is your turn, Andrew. And it has been a turn. Tell me, as a master of darkness here, I do occasionally have fun times. Do beasts feel fear?
I mean, not usually. It takes a hell of a lot to fucking scare a beast.
Well then,
Not so much anymore.
let's see just how much. Would Andrew and Trinity roll me a willpower? Your current, please.
No successes.
Okay.
2 successes.
Andrew, you barely managed to stomach back the gas. And you shake it off before you see something you might regret. Something you might fear. But no, you've had enough of that. You have had enough of that this week. You barely managed to fight it off. It dazes you for a moment. But you are not afraid. Trinity, on the other hand. Tell me, Miss Logan, what is your greatest fear?
So what she sees her old Apex that she fought, who beat her last. He's a huge primordial kraken like beast, even larger than she is, and the kind of sight of him kind of startles her, and she stops and she stares, still with kind of her proverbial hackles up, but she's very startled to see him swimming around her in the primordial ocean, and her horror shrieks as it realizes that there's another horror nearby.
All right. You now have the fear condition. Can't remember off the top of my head precisely what that does, but that is applied to you. And you will be afraid for the next, you will have that condition applied onto you for the next 24 hours.
Okay. She'll go murder someone. It'll be fine. You think a joke?
There are still two in front of you. But either way, you have the feared. Let's see, that was turn. Did I say it was back up at the top? I apologize.
You did not know.
Right, you went, Andrew did, so I think it's their turn again, right? Yes. So I will have them go, and I will go back up to the top. The man with the net launcher now sees that you are point blank. He will throw it down and try to punch you with what look like stun knuckles. You gain your defense for this. What is your defense?
Who?
Trinity.
Trinity's defense is 2.
Okay, so he will roll 2d10. He gets 1 hit. Would Trinity roll me a stamina check, please?
No successes.
Okay. Take 3 bashing damage, or stun, so to speak.
Okay. She's got a lethal and she's unconscious.
All right. Andrew. Actually, let's see, what's the other guy gonna do? Actually, with her going down, so Trinity is unconscious?
Yeah, she rolled over her health levels.
Oh boy. That will change what he does then. He looks down and sees that, and then he looks back at Andrew. He's going to drop his shotgun and quick draw a small caliber pistol. Dear God. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Jesus Christ. Okay. Well, he definitely hits you. Andrew, roll me a stamina.
Do I add the vest he's wearing?
Oh shoot. What's the defense for that?
3 versus a ballistic.
Right. Okay. Typically, I would take away from that, but because I forgot to add that, we'll go ahead and re-roll that. So 7, 6, 5 d10 instead. Still 2 hits. Roll me stamina. Okay. You're struck with a dart. You will now take the dazed status. It is Trinity's turn. I know.
She
I'm having you guys roll stamina checks because I've got certain powers that are going through here. So,
I mean, she's unconscious. She can't really do anything.
as a DM, I would like to give you a proposition. You can. There was quite a bit of fear going through you at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And the damage that was done to you was stun, in other words, electrical.
Mm-hmm.
If you wish to do a sort of beast frenzy, so to speak, I will allow you to get back up, and I will even give you a beat for it. However, there will be 2 conditions that will be placed on you that will also last for a while. If you wish to take those 2 conditions, get back up and go into your little rage, so to speak, you'll get a beat. Plus, you'll get one for the fight.
What are the conditions?
The conditions will be horrified and exhausted.
Oh, no, she'll stay unconscious.
You will stay unconscious. Okay. You will stay unconscious then, and it will go to Andrew's turn. Andrew, you will be taking a -1 to all rolls.
Well, they're both pointing handguns at each other, but for some reason, seeing Trinity go down, Andrew feels like that's not quite enough. So the guard, soldier, grunt, he doesn't know, whatever this guy is in front of him, he meets his eyes and activates a nightmare.
Okay. What's taken away from your penalty? Does he have a defense for this or no?
If I'm not mistaken, it's not contested, it's just resisted.
Okay.
It would be his presence plus Sadie minus their stamina.
He gets 1.
I'm sorry?
He got 1 hit. Is that enough to cancel or?
No. It's not contested. It's resisted.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So -1. That's it.
He just has the 1 stamina.
He's taking penalties now.
Okay, so he's at 1 stamina. Presently, Andrew Sadie is at 7, which is enough to be high. So the high Sadie effect kicks in, which means this roll has 8 again. Oh boy. 8, 2, 10. I think I won't spend any Sadie on this. I don't think he'd be able to survive. Heck with it, I'll spend 1.
Very well.
So that'll resolve his gorge condition. I thought it gave a bonus to nightmares, but it doesn't. 4 successes plus
Gorge condition?
Yeah. 4 successes plus 2 for spending 1 Sadie, and I see at least 1 2 8s.
Okay.
All right, 8 again. So that would be, he would have rolled all 4 of them again. Or do we not want to bother?
We won't bother because with that sonic blast that they got hit by, neither one of these guys is going to survive much longer. What does Nightmare do to this guy?
That is lethal damage.
Right. So, the man that you stare into, what does he see?
He sees Andrew level that gun directly at his head. And somehow, impossibly, Andrew had been across the room, but now he's standing next to him, pressing the barrel up against his skull.
Touching her was a mistake.
And then he's dead.
Okay, he's dead.
Oh no, he's literally dead. Unless you meant the other thing.
No, he's literally dead. Well,
He's
brain dead. But the other guy is still up. Not very well. But he looks down at Trinity and then he looks at you and he is going to use double action to pick up his gun and shoot you again with a net launcher. And I know armor gives you a defense against range weapons, but he's technically shooting a net weapon at you.
Yeah, it's not really a bullet.
So I would say
one,
yeah.
I guess. It is just one general.
Yeah, I'll subtract 1. Ooh, he gets a lot of hits. Damn, they're rolling really good now. So yeah, you're hit by the net.
5 successes. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, take 5. Take 5 bashing damage for me, please, as the net electrifies you.
-1 then. Ah.
So now you're taking -2 to all rolls. He had to pick it up. He can't use his another action. So it's your turn again, Andrew.
Do I want to do that twice is the question. Oh, is this turn 3?
Yeah.
Or is it still turn 2?
This is turn 3 now that it's your turn.
So he's going to be at even lower. He's going to be at pretty bad negatives now. Andrew's going to take his handgun. And he's going to fire.
Okay. Defense -2 for this guy's armor.
So 3, 4, 5, 6, 4. Nothing.
Oof. It's difficult with the amount of pain you've taken. And it's also very difficult to aim a gun when you've got a net that's constricting around you. You shoot and you shoot wide. This is a stun weapon. So I know this is technically not how it works, but go ahead and roll stamina again. Just because I want to give you a shot here. Although I'm not sure if this will help. Yeah. Stamina flat with the minus. Oof, this is not going to be fun.
I'll spend a willpower, I think.
Spend a willpower? Okay. You may do so.
A success.
Take 4 bashing damage.
Well, that would have been enough to knock him out anyway. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, he's at 2 lethal then.
Okay. You try your best to stay up. But through the pain and the struggles, blackness envelops you. You're not sure how much time passes, neither you nor Trinity. After what feels like hours, both you and Trinity awaken slowly, painfully, into consciousness. You are both laying next to each other, and you have been laid inside the circle. There is no one else in the room. No lights, no furniture, nothing. All of the equipment is gone. Just you two and the circle remain.
So it's been a couple hours, right?
Perhaps.
So we need to read the rules on how to do this.
Andrew is going to reach for his weapon.
Your weapon is there.
He's going to draw it and he's going to remove the magazine.
Bullets are there.
Is it still full?
No, it's the one shot you fired is obviously gone. However, if you search for the shell, the ejected shell, it will be nowhere to be found.
Huh. Not an illusion. And he'll put the magazine back and put the...
So, question.
Go ahead.
Is the door shut?
Yes.
Okay. Since I have a funky idea. I need to see how this works. I've never done this before. She's going to open a primordial pathway into, she's going to open a primordial pathway to get us out of here.
Mhm. For speed's sake, don't worry about rolling right now.
Okay.
I'll say that through the circumstances and through the probably undeniable rage you feel,
Mm-hmm.
you're able to open a pathway. Where do you wish to go?
She's taking her and Andrew into her lair, and then through there into his lair to wherever his lair connects to.
Tell us a bit about your lair, Trinity. Since we've seen Andrew's, we haven't seen yours yet.
So the chamber that they step into, they immediately are floating in what looks like a I'm trying to think of the word, like cove almost. Like there's rock all around and it's filled almost entirely with this black brackish water. And if you go up far enough, you hit the roof of the cave. And there's an entrance to the cave that you can see where this murky light is pouring through. And Trinity, in her pretty massive siren form, just wraps a tentacle around Andrew so he can follow her and swims out into the ocean beyond, which is this vast ocean of just... It seems to be just like an endless ocean with a whirlpool in the center. Or at least where you can approximate the center of an endless ocean. And from there, would they go down into the whirlpool, and at the very bottom it opens into his lair.
And Andrew's lair, the dark area of doors that we're all familiar with. Andrew, where does your lair come out to when you are all finally finished traveling?
Sorry about that. Um, obviously, Trinity was just describing what sounds like a whirlpool.
Yeah, there's a whirlpool in the center, and we go down into it to
They,
the secret
they
lair.
exited the endless ocean that is Trinity's lair into yours. And then when you exit yours, where does yours lead out?
Well, Andrew's lair looks more like a prison. So I'm not entirely sure what we'd want to do with that.
I will say that simplicity of your desires is fairly easy. As you exit through the nearest door, you will come out on the front porch of where you live, both of you, to your house, one of your closest areas. And you and Trinity are now standing in front of your house in the pouring rain.
Trinity is she definitely looks hurt. But she's got this look in her eyes of just pure hatred as she kind of wraps her arm around Andrew and helps him into the house.
Well, great first day on the job.
At least we killed some of the bastards.
For what, though?
Well, that's why there's one left alive. I'm sure we can get the information out somehow.
So, as we put your scene on hold while you two are discussing, so we can go to our other characters. Before we do, I would like to say what Trinity and Andrew gained from that experience. For being in a difficult combat, Trinity and Andrew both gain a beat. For going down in combat, Trinity and Andrew both gain a beat. 2 beats to each of you. Now our scene takes us to the home of Dalton, Mr. Dalton Graves, where, unbeknownst to him, he's going to have a visitor. Perhaps it will be good, perhaps it will be bad. Let's find out.
Dalton seems to be getting a lot of visitors lately.
Bit of a hangabout.
Am I supposed to talk?
I don't know, we weren't introduced.
You may, I assume that Mistress Tatiana is going to speak to Dalton like she said she wanted to. How she arrives is on your own description. You may arrive at his house however you wish to please, whoever you wish to have with you.
First of all, we need to know a bit about his house. Where is it located? Is it like an apartment building? Is it a house?
Sure. No, it is an apartment building. He's not rich enough for a house, especially in this economy, which I'm assuming has gotten even more fucked since the time has gone on.
I don't know, man. I'm doing quite well.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah. But no, apartment building. He hasn't really met his neighbors. His neighbors really kind of stay out of his hair. They've got this symbiotic relationship where it's like, if I don't see you and you don't see me, we don't know that we exist, then like we won't have a problem. And he's fine with that. So it is this tall, painfully mundane apartment building that is not located in the new district, I guess I'll say. It's not been teched out to the gods. It is brick and stone and cement and wood and all of that. None of that newfangled alloys or fibers or whatever they've got going on in the upper districts. It is gray. It is bleak. Some of the paint is peeling. Some mold is growing on the outside just because of Gotham's exceptional weather. That's my phone. But when you step inside, it is kind of a similar story. Peeling paint, mold. You probably smell the scent of cat piss somewhere because one of the residents are inept or just a dick. As you climb the stairs, if you put your hand, for whatever reason, I feel like Mistress Tatiana would be much more wise than to do this, but if someone was to put their hand on the railing, because of course the elevator is not working, you will get a semi-thick schmear of viscous liquid or mucus on your hand. No one knows what it is. They are not brave enough to clean it. They just don't touch the railing.
I don't think that would happen. I don't think she would ever catch that.
But you might smell it, you might see it. So I just thought to, and maybe Mr. Sherman might have not been so observant. You do climb the stairs. You do make your way to his apartment.
Question:
building.
Is
Yeah?
Mr. May still outside your door?
I was just about to say, yes, he is still standing there. He seems to have quite a bit of energy drinks, kind of like finished off and stacked next to him. The trash really doesn't stand out in this place. Dalton's not rich in money. He's rich in character. But yes, your man is still standing outside the door and you've received no reports that he has left the building.
Okay. I might need to hire more people. This is unhealthy. Okay. I will be arriving by my personal car, of course, and accompanied by Mr. Sherman. I will be wearing this because I guess that was the simplest kind of attire I could find in order to visit this neighborhood that I don't know that well.
I do have a question. What does the car that you used look like?
I can show you what the car looks like in
Mhm.
one sec. I'm guessing the car is not very safe.
Oh no, I just want to know. That's all. Nothing bad, I'm sure.
Nothing special, you know.
It's me. Has anything bad ever happened when I'm around?
Let's not talk about
Don't
it.
answer that question.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, so that is a very nice ride that you got. You are wearing, in quotation marked, reserved clothing. Yep, go on.
And we look around a bit since I have not been here before. I'm not frequenting that part of town that often, obviously, because you know how elitists are. And so we'll go first. Sherman will be following right behind. And on which floor is Dalton's apartment?
He's on the 5th. No, 6th.
Good that I don't sweat. So she will slowly make her way upstairs, not touching anything, but also trying to be as inconspicuous as possible because it's pretty out of place.
You have a strong feeling you are anything but inconspicuous.
I mean, yeah, like the clicking of her heels on the floor is pretty much
And your
probably echoing. Yeah, probably echoing all over the place. Mr. Sherman is very obvious that he's not an escort but a bodyguard. Like he's a stereotypical stereotypically looking bodyguard in any case. So after climbing up 5 flights of stairs, we arrive at the 6th floor, and I can see Mr. May at the door. At which point, I will just approach and ask him how he's doing, because he looks bad.
Yeah, no, I'm good, ma'am. A little tired, but I'm good.
You sure? If you need a break, I can send someone else.
There's a pause. Well, I want to stay, but I feel like I would not be my best professional self if I did. I wouldn't be on my A game. Maybe I should get some rest.
Okay, I will call Mr. Jackson. I'm sure he can relieve you. I trust him as much.
Thank you, ma'am.
And
Yeah.
I will pretty much look at Mr. Sherman, because I'm not gonna call myself. He can call. Well, I go in the apartment, and I'm going to leave the two gentlemen outside, and I'm going to knock on the door.
There's silence for a bit. Perhaps while the two men are having not the two men. Mr. Sherman is on the phone with you're assuming Jackson or a secretary or something. You don't hear
He's
anything,
the head of security at the club, so is
right? But you
the
know,
other
there's
person we trust.
okay. Regardless, you don't really hear anything coming from the apartment beyond that door. And perhaps for a microsecond, you might have thought that maybe something bad happened. Maybe he left via a fire escape because he didn't want to be around your goons. You do remember that he saw you devouring someone only a few nights ago.
Yeah, part of the reason why I'm here.
Yeah. So for that microsecond, you could be concerned. I'm not going to tell you how your character does feel, but eventually you do hear the sounds of life, ironically, shuffling around from inside, and the door, many different locks being undone, and then the door will kind of open a little bit, but you see a chain at the top.
She will tilt her head a little bit to make sure she has eye contact with Dalton.
He doesn't seem to be giving you eye contact in return. He's staring at your shoe, like legs to shoe area.
Dalton?
Yes.
Is it okay if I come in?
Can you not come in unless invited?
No, nothing of the sort, my dear.
All right. Hold on a second, and then the door will close. You hear with that sounds like a gun. You hear the chain being undone, and then the door would open to you, and he would stand to the side to allow you to get into the apartment building. And interesting, he was an interior designer at one stage, because the contrast from outside his apartment room and inside, it's quite different. It's warm, it's friendly, it's open, it's cozy, it's very inviting. A lot of oranges and reds and bronze, and just kind of like you're in this log cabin in autumn, but there's a fireplace kind of feel, very aesthetically pleasing for the season that we are currently in.
Well, she will make a couple of steps, allow him to do the thing with the door that he wants to do, whatever, and she will wait for him to, tell her to sit or whatever.
Yeah, you see that he kind of like he leans out slightly to kind of look to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right again, and sees your bodyguard and kind of eyes them suspiciously before kind of like snaking inside and closing the door. Chain, lock, 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 deadbolt, and then turns to you again, not looking you in the eyes. He is not trembling. He appears to have some color back into him. The bags are not as bad, but they're not completely gone. So he clearly must have had some kind of rest, some kind of nutrients into his body. So him being back here was a good thing for him biologically. He won't look at you, and he will say, "Can I get you something to? Maybe you would just like to have a seat."
Yes, thank you, my dear. Your apartment is really lovely.
Thank you. I'm going to get myself a drink. I'd offer you one, but I know you're on a diet. And then he doesn't wait for further talk, further bodily kind of cues. He just immediately goes into the kitchen. But like I did say, it is a very open space. So you can see him in the kitchen kind of like messing around with like some coffee and all of that.
So, what kind of furniture are there? Is it like a sofa? Is there an armchair?
Yeah, there's a rocking chair by the window with some knitting nearby, interesting enough. Not the old kind of like two sticks. It seems to be a homemade French knitting kind of thing where you get like a toilet roll and 4 paddle pop sticks and you kind of wind it around, and it's strange, but it appears to be producing some kind of wool thing. Maybe that's his relaxation corner. Maybe this is, his grandmother's place that he just moved into because she's gone now. Whatever the case may be, there is lounges, like sofas. They look very comfortable and very plush. There might be a stain here or there, but it does appear to be quite faint and heavily cleaned over. There is rugs. There is a TV. It's not the best, but it is there. There are dining chairs and a dining table. There are some posters and pictures on the walls. Just the basics. Pretty basics, but basics.
Okay, I will sit on the sofa at a point that seems to be like not invasive of his space, because I get the feeling that he needs his space at the moment. So I'll try to be as non-invasive as possible.
Mm-hmm. You hear clinking around in the kitchen, and you might even hear him say something under his breath, something along the lines of, "No, not this time. She's a friend. I think we can't do that to her." And then clink, clink, clink. The kettle is on, and he comes and he stands away from you, still in the same room. He doesn't sit down. He doesn't look at you. He's just kind of existing in the same space as you.
She will look at him. I think after a couple of days have passed, perhaps it would be a good time that we discuss some of the events that occurred.
What did you want to talk about in specific? A lot has happened.
Indeed. Perhaps we can start with whatever is troubling you the most.
That is a difficult thing to quantify, because about everything is troubling me. But let's just pick a random place. You. Hmm. I guess I should have seen it coming. But vampires exist, apparently.
Many things exist that you didn't know before. It's easy to assume that all the people present at the sushi bar were not exactly human. Same goes with the ones of you that were at the museum.
Yeah. I got a tip from a friend of mine. Wolf in sheep's clothing. The wolf mother. If everyone in this if everyone in this city that I've met as of late is part of it, then she must be some kind of wolf furry thing. That guy that I was at the terrorist attack with, he he, he must be a wolf as well. I mean, I saw what he did to open that door. And that guy, that police officer, I don't.
I don't know what he is exactly, but I know that he has abilities that cannot be explained by mundane human laws, let's say. But I'm not exactly sure what exactly he is. I mean, until a few days ago, I didn't know about what you have become or that there are more of you.
I I don't know if this is like a rude question to ask, but I feel like I do deserve some answers. So like how much is true like in the stories about like your situation? Like you can come in uninvited. Should I hide the garlic? Can you walk in the sun or do you sparkle like that vintage film?
Well, let's start from, well, garlic doesn't do anything. I don't need to be invited to enter a place, but common courtesy requires it. Don't you agree? As for
Yeah.
walking in the sun, well, that would probably be the end of me.
What about crosses? Holy water.
This is a bit more complicated. A cross or holy water by itself doesn't really do all that much. Now, yielded by someone who truly believes them to be powerful, that can actually be problematic. But it's not the symbol or the material itself that has that effect.
What about stakes?
Out of character, is it the same in Requiem as in then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're paralyzed when a stake hits you.
Okay. Well, a stake doesn't kill you, but it does paralyze you. Assuming it's through the heart directly.
Right. How long have you been like this?
About 25 years, give or take.
So that would make you how old? Because you look good for your age.
50. Vampires don't age. Kindred Kindred is what we like to be called, however.
How many of you are there? Like, is it like some like medical thing where you like forsaken by God? Is it a virus?
No, no, no. It's more like, I suppose you could call it a curse. Well, a multifaceted curse, anyway. Because you get to be young and beautiful and forever, potentially. But there's always something.
Do you like being this? Did you choose this? His eyes are beginning to kind of
Most
come
of
up to you.
us don't directly choose per se. Most of us are chosen. As for liking it, well, it does give you opportunities that you might not have had otherwise, but it does come with some downsides. I can't say I dislike it, however, but I do have to be very, very careful.
But you eat people, Tatiana. Like you, like I saw you eat someone alive.
Just the blood. And
Does
that
that make it any better?
was an attack. Usually doesn't feel or look like that. Think of it as some sort of symbiosis between two people. I get sustenance for a time and they get a very pleasurable experience.
I don't know if this is gonna come across as rude. I don't mean it to be rude, but I just want to be clear. I don't want you to feed from me ever.
Well, I haven't done it so far.
I mean,
Have
how would
I?
I know? Maybe you've got like those like you will forget this situation kind of powers. I don't know.
You would know. I'm usually not very deceptive about it.
I mean, I wouldn't know even if you were.
No, but if you had been fed upon, you would know it.
Have you fed on anyone at the club? Any of the girls?
Yes, willingly.
Who?
Most of them.
Chelsea?
Not a clue. Out of character, not a clue.
It's up to you.
But to be honest, since I had to use awe on her in order to make her, calm her down, I would assume that no,
Hmm.
at least not yet. No, not Chelsea.
Good. I don't want you to do that to her either.
What is it that you think that I do that is so bad?
You eat people. I know that you said that it's not always like what I saw and that it's some kind of symbiosis, but you eat people. Like I know that you've been at it for like years and years now, but I'm sorry. I'm just being introduced to this world. You eat people.
I don't slaughter people in order to eat. When I feed on someone, it's just for a few moments. Then they go on their merry way, feeling really good actually. How is that
It's
worse than eating a steak, which requires an animal to die?
they're animals.
Are animals any less than the rest of us then?
No, they're not. But like, this is it feels wrong. It doesn't feel right.
Would it feel more right if I were to starve?
There's an uncomfortably long pause.
I can tell you what comes with that. If a kindred stays unfed for too long, they can no longer control their hunger. And when that happens, bad things happen. Bad things that are prevented when you maintain a healthy feeding habit, let's say, that doesn't harm other people. But starving would be very, very harmful for all involved.
Okay, well, I don't want you to starve, and I don't want people to die. It's a very this world is much more fucked up than I thought it was, and it was already really, really bad.
Well, Gotham seems to be a hub for all sort of beings and events. What matters is what side you choose to be on.
I feel like choosing
Nobody,
sides will result in injury or pissing off someone, something.
well, here's the thing, you can spend your life in a bubble thinking that whatever you do will have consequences, but that's how life is. Things that you do have consequences. There's always someone that's going to be angry at you. There's always going to be someone that's going to care about you. You can't keep everyone happy. You can't keep
Tatiana,
everyone safe. Yeah, here it comes.
he smells good. Perhaps you should take him.
Not today, Satan.
Oh, the kettle. I'll be
You,
right back.
you are in control. For now. But I'll be back.
Great. Now lose my train of thought. Where was I?
Very that's good. That means that the beast is getting under your skin, and I know that you have some conditions that you are going through right now.
Yes.
He is by the kettle. Perhaps it is because your beast had a little nice chit chat with you for a moment there, but your eyes lock on to his neck. The steam from the kettle caressing his living flesh, causing micro droplets of sweat and moisture to form, and for the pores to unclog and open, and the blood flow to increase as the warmth hits that neck and vulnerable place as he pours his pot of coffee.
Well, Dalton, from what I have seen, you also are able to do things now.
Yeah.
but I'm not exactly sure what it was.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know either. I mean, I've been in touch with my friend on the other side, and they've been communicating with me in a way. They don't talk per se, but we understand each other. Um, I see dead people, and I can't not. It's like after I came back, I have the eyes of a ghost or something because I've seen the other side and come back. I can see both at the same time. Like I can see you standing here. I know that we are in my apartment room. I know that I am in my kitchen, but if I look out that window, I can look down and I can see people walking around with other people that haven't moved on yet. I mean, I'm not surprised. Gotham, as you said, is a hub of strange activity and definitely violence.
So, would your purpose be to help them move on then? Or
I want to help them. I do, but I need to help myself first. I am still learning. I don't want to try and help them and accidentally hurt them or do something that makes them angry.
this is a very wise choice. That girl that we saw, Caitlin, I believe,
Yes.
she can help you.
Yeah, she already has in a way, but she's invited me to speak about personal things, things that only you know what we've been through can speak about. No one else can really understand what that means.
That's true, but she can. If you're not comfortable talking about it yet, take your time, but I think it would be a good idea to allow her to help you. She has experience that can help you transition into this new world that you get to experience now.
She's so she's so young, and the fact that she's like me, it that means that she had to have died, and that's not right.
No,
I
it is not, but she makes it right.
She kills people violently. I mean, I understand. I feel that anger, that sensation. Like I know what she is feeling, but I don't think I can kill.
Dalton, sometimes justice can be harsh. And from what I understand, it is that side of her that demands this justice in order to keep a peaceful coexistence. You may have to, depending on what your other side demands.
According to Caitlin, my friend, my associate, really, they are. Then they're not like the traditional ones that come back with people. I don't want to say more powerful, but no, I will. They're more powerful. They've come back with
It does
such.
it doesn't mean that you don't have something to offer them.
I've learned how to do some things, and it's scary, but it feels good. And I don't know if I should feel bad that it feels good, but it's new.
Well, I don't think you should feel. I don't know how to express this, but you have to understand now that nobody's a saint. And there are things that give you pleasure that might be deemed as bad or evil. But as long as you don't let that control your life and be the drive of everything you do, I don't think it's wrong to feel good about it. I think it's human.
And what does it mean to be human? What does it mean to be anything, really? In the end, maybe none of us know. All of these characters continue down this lonely road forward. Perhaps one day their questions may be answered. But where there are answers, there are often more questions. Before we end tonight's scene, as the camera fades from Tatiana and Dalton having their discussion, we will go back to Trinity, and then Andrew, and then Dalton and Tatiana may make last-minute declarations before the session ends. Trinity, after you and Andrew have been whisked to safety, what is it you are doing?
All right. So she is. I need to just check her sheet to see if she has any medicine real quick. I should not have closed her sheet yet. She is kind of just taking care of Dalton, or Andrew, I should say. She is, yeah, she's doing just like kind of bandaging their wounds as best she can. Making a little bit of tea and kind of just keeping an eye out. She's not really very pleased. She's kind of angry, and her horror is kind of raging in its lair, kind of just fury.
You failed to feed on them. You failed. We must make them suffer.
I'll be honest, I can't understand anything you're saying when you're using that.
Sorry. It said, you failed, you must make them suffer.
She's just, we will. And she's planning how she's going to torture these guys when she gets her hands on them.
Although, to be fair, 3 of them are dead.
To
Two
be
of them
fair,
by
but
your
she's,
hand.
yeah, but, oh yeah. She's going to find the rest of their organization, though, and murder every single one of them slowly. Because she is a monster when she's angry.
Would Miss Logan roll me an intelligence plus a... Actually, would you roll me an intelligence plus wits, please?
Okay. Where is the dice channel? I was not... Okay, there we go. That is 4 successes.
Very nice. You try to remember back. Were there any distinguishing markings? Was there any information at all pertaining to what these could be. Well, yes, there was. These men had strange symbols on their jackets. You didn't quite recognize the symbol at first, but the jackets had a skull, and on top of the skull was a gear. Something you've never seen before. But you have a marking in your head. You have
Okay.
an idea of the look. Also, you never know. Maybe going back to the warehouse might turn up some ideas.
Okay.
Andrew, what are you doing?
Andrew is obviously nursing his wounds, and he is already thinking back to the room. He's thinking back and he's remembering, and he is looking for details that he missed at the time.
Mm-hmm. Would you also roll me an intelligence plus wits?
Investigation, if you wish, or no?
Yes.
It's a success, but I imagine it's more specific.
You remember a sound. Almost like a high frequency sonar kind of a sound when you were in the fight. Other than that, there's not much you can remember.
Well, he does at least remember that last soldier,
There is one.
Merc,
There is
Grunt,
actually
whatever
one,
he was.
there is one other thing you do remember. Actually, you and Trinity and Mr. Nevermore know this. The van that drove by you had a very odd license plate. It was just a bunch of sixes. 666666.
Well, that bothers Andrew a little bit. In certain religions, that number would relate to both the man and the beast.
Indeed, it would. Although typically a lot of people forget that the true numbers are 616. However, semantics is not something that Gotham City really cares about. Trinity and Andrew, what indeed will you do? After the session is over, you are both welcome to have a social scene if you wish at any time afterwards. Going back to the last conversation of Dalton and Tatiana, what are the last things that they will do before the scene ends?
I know what I would want to ask him.
By all means, go ahead and have like a conversation in like say 5 minutes. You both have a 5-minute conversation.
So, Dalton, I was meaning to ask you something.
Yeah.
You see, the investigation on your death is still ongoing. There are a few angles to be pursued. However, I don't know how to deal with the people. I'm assuming that you would want to be reintroduced to them, or at least try and continue your life as normal.
Yeah. I mean, as normal as I can get it. I mean,
Well, I'll be honest with you. After something so dramatic, in order to do that, it would require some pretty intense tactics. It's not something that I can personally do, but I know others that can. Let's say rewrite some memories.
why not good old fashioned lying? I mean, plenty of people have, come back from death, defibrillators, those new chemicals that they put in those syringes now. I mean, what if I just said that I was legally dead for a bit and that I was resuscitated?
It would raise even more questions. It was a lot of time.
We're in a golden age of technology. I could say it was an experiment.
That might be the case, but being dead for over an hour, it's not easy to recover the brain function, at least not by non supernatural means. I know that it's might be a bit complicated, and I will be taking the full responsibility and whatever price comes with it, but perhaps sparing them the trauma would be the better option.
I I don't want them to be hurt. I don't want their brains to be messed with, but I also don't want them hurt. Would you at least let me try to convince them? And if it doesn't work, then maybe.
I suppose that could happen. However, you have to understand that this could further traumatize them.
Trauma how? I just, if anything, it will give them faith in medical science.
It's been a few days now that they've been processing the events. It will. It might break them. You have to keep that in mind.
All right. I guess there really isn't much of a choice.
Well, if you want some time, I can arrange for that, but I don't think that you're a good enough liar to convince them of that. I don't know if I am. Do you understand?
I think it would be safer if we were to just have you do what you said. I don't like it, but there is no good option here.
I don't like it either, but after seeing them in the state I have, believe me, it would be best. I will make the arrangements, and as soon as it's done, I will have us meet outside of the club so that you can at least feel somewhat normal.
We need to find the person that did this to me.
Oh, we will. Of that there is no doubt, and when we will, well, there will be hell to pay. I can promise you that.
Perhaps there shall be hell to pay. Perhaps there won't. We'll see. Do Miss Trinity and Andrew wish to have a conversation before the session ends?
I'm good.
A little bit.
Okay. By all means, have a conversation here in the next 5 minutes, and then the session will end.
Not that it's too much of a conversation, but once Andrew has his feet up and has a moment to think, he will look over at Trinity and give her an unsteady smile. So, when the two of us can walk straight, want to track down that last one, see what the hell that was all about.
Oh, you can bet that I will be tracking him down. He won't survive, but I'm sure we can get
Good information out of him before he dies.
All right. Yeah, just checking. And then he'll kind of close his eyes and rest.
You did good, though. I mean, other than the fact that we passed out, but for the situation, we did good, I think.
I still don't understand what the point was or how.
That is outside of my wheelhouse too. But I think Sabrina might be able to help us with that. I'll give her a call tomorrow.
I've got a pretty good memory, but that's not someone I recall.
She's a wizard. I'm sure if anyone knows how,
Oh,
it would be her.
coffee shop. Yes. Yeah, all right. We'll do that.
And then she'll smile and go back to sipping her tea.
A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless. And so this session of Gotham by Night ends. But it will return. There are many avenues that the players need to address and take now. I wonder what the future holds for them. But don't ask me. I'm just a humble storyteller. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been Gotham by Night.